Hey everybody, Tim here with tonight's episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 3, Episode 15, Yesterday's Enterprise. Probably one of the most famous episodes, definitely in the top 10, maybe the top 5, depending on who you are. I mean, if you're Quentin Tarantino, this is number 1. It's pretty public news that Tarantino wants to make like a rated R, super edgy Star Trek movie, and supposedly this is his favorite movie. That's where he got that dream job to do a dark Star Trek. For me, for whatever reason, I project onto this episode as the mirror universe. So the mirror universe was in one episode of the original series. It's in a few of Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and it's one of the main storylines for Discovery. So the mirror universe is a big part of Star Trek in general. The Next Generation had no mirror episodes, but for whatever reason, I project onto that. Anytime I think about it, I just get that mirror universe feel. I think it's Q Squared by Peter David. I think in that novel, this is the mirror universe. So I might just be mixing the two. I don't remember. But overall, this is a good episode. It's a really interesting episode. So the Enterprise D, as we know it, encounters a wormhole, but instead of through space, it's through time. And then where it leads about 22 years into the past. And the Enterprise C, the predecessor ship, comes through it into the future, into our time. By doing so, there's a butterfly ripple effect that changes the outcome of everything. And so now this is where it kind of becomes the mirror universe, because now we're at war, and instead of captain's log, it's the war log, and the outfits are different, the bridge is different. It's a massive change. And then it has, this episode also creates its own little ripple effect. So Tasha Yar is now alive again. So we saw her die at the end of season 1 in Skin of Evil. Everybody kind of knows that she had a very bad death episode. Nobody likes that episode. Even if you don't like Tasha Yar, it's still a bad death episode. And Guinan is the only one that's aware of this change. And she even says, you had a senseless death. And so this episode was kind of done to give her a more meaningful death. And so before they send the Enterprise C back in time to where it belongs, Tasha goes with them, therefore planting other seeds. So now we have the Enterprise D reverts back to normal, but yet Tasha Yar was in the past. And we see the outcomes of that later on in later seasons. And to go kind of take a step back in time, if you will, this is the only time that we ever see more than one Enterprise at the exact same time. The movie Generations, it starts with the Enterprise B and it goes to the Enterprise D, but we never see them together. This is the only time that we see the D, we see the Enterprise C and we see the Enterprise D at the exact same time interacting. So it's kind of interesting. I thought it was kind of interesting that they specifically mentioned that the Enterprise C was destroyed 22 years ago. So now we know, this is season 3, so about 19 years passed with no Enterprise between the C and the D. So I thought that was kind of interesting, because later on, we know from the movies, to go from the Enterprise to the Enterprise A was very, very quick. We not sure about between A and B, because we don't really know how long the A was in commission. I'm sure there's tons of fan fiction, but we don't really know exactly how long, at least on screen. And then between the D and the E, it's very, very quick. So 19 years is a pretty substantial amount of time. I liked that the Captain Garrett, was a female. I think this is the first instance, I think this is the only time we've seen a female captain on the Enterprise, because we had Captain April, Captain Pike, Captain Kirk, Captain Spock, so on and so forth. So I liked how it was Captain Garrett was the female captain of the Enterprise C. Because it's interesting when we see female captains, because to be honest, it's not that popular, or it's not widely seen in those original episodes. So as we continue through the franchise, we start seeing it more and more. Towards the end, Geordi comes flying through engineering, yelling, "Coolant leak! We got a warp core breach." I'm pretty sure that's like his catchphrase throughout the entire rest of the franchise. Because anytime I think about Geordi, that's what I think about him yelling. Like even in the movies, cool it, Link, warp core breach imminent. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny. Probably the best part about this whole episode is the very beginning, the teaser, if you will, where Guinan gives Worf prune juice to drink. It's kind of a shout out to several episodes ago where Riker's making him breakfast and everybody's like super excited except for Worf, and they start eating the omelet, the eggs that Riker makes, and everybody hates it but Worf, and he's like scarfing it down. It's kind of a continuation of that joke where Guinan's giving him something most people don't like, prune juice, and it's a warrior's drink. And that continues too. Once we meet Worf's adopted parents, Guinan talks to them about it. Like, how did you never give that to him? And he also reiterates that Earth women are too fragile for him, which is kind of funny because in the later seasons he starts dating Counselor Troy. But that's also, we've heard him say that numerous times at this point. Going back to early episodes of season 1, I think it's the episode Justice, where he first mentions like, oh, Earth women are too fragile. I need a Klingon woman. But yeah, so there's a lot going on in this episode. It's a really good, it's really well done episode, and I really liked it. Like I said, it's not technically a mirror universe, but I always kind of project onto it. For those who have seen it, what did you guys think? Would you guys be interested in a Yesterday's Enterprise type movie from Quentin Tarantino? Or is that just like, nope, we should stop while we're ahead type thing? Go ahead, let me know what you guys think about this one, and I will see you guys next time for Offspring.